welcome to our Mico Podcast. I'm Mallory the teacher.
I'm Rachel the beginner.
And today our special guest is...
Yuan Gao.
Okay, we went. Okay, I see you. So we were just talking because this is my student Rainy, and you. Okay, so this is why I asked, because in my phone, which I feel like you put it in my phone, your name is Rainey. Oh, and then we have a cat. Every time she's got to make it. Oh, she's like, I'm taking the wire with me. In my phone, you're Rainey. But then when I went to email you the confirmation for this episode, it was your email address was Rainy.
Yes.
And so when I was like, hey, Rainy, and I was like, fuck, I don't know the spelling. And I really like to get people's spelling correct. So.
Okay. My official name on my ID is Yuan Gao, Yuangao.
Okay.
Okay. Yuan is the same pronunciation as Chinese currency. A lot of people cannot pronounce it. They call me Juan for some reason, or Yang. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But the reason I got the nickname for Rainy is because literally, if I go somewhere for the first time, as soon as my flight touched down, it started to rain.
Oh.
So my friends or coworkers, they starting say, hey, you bring rain with you everywhere. So you better get a middle name, Rainy. I said, okay, cool. I can go with that. So people starting calling me Rainy. All the close friends, they know where the name comes from. So it's easier for them. So that's why, sometimes it confuse people. Wait, I don't see Rainy on the paper or the wait list wherever I go. I said, oh yeah, my first name is Yuan.
Yuan.
Yes.
Yuan.
Yes. Oh, you get a good pronunciation.
Thank you.
I did not do well in Mandarin. I will not try.
Well, I remember seeing your name on the class list when you'd come to my class. And so I was like, oh, that's Rainy. Like I just knew after a while.
Yes. But if you noticed that when we had a group chat on the WhatsApp, I put my real name. It's Yuan Gao. I just put a nickname behind it. It's Rainy.
I see.
Yeah, because people call me Rainy. Like, the front desk, they confused, you wait a minute. I call you Yuan all the time, but I heard people calling you Rainy. Which one you prefer? I said it doesn't matter because you can call your first name because you can pronounce it. A lot of people, they cannot pronounce it. And there are a lot of, names in the studio, I cannot pronounce it either. They gave me a shorter, version or nickname so I can call like JQ or TT, whatever. So it's kind of easier for people. It's just a name.
Great.
Right? Just a name.
Yeah. Okay. Didn't know that about you. And to come back to my original point, do you have a preference of spelling of Rainy? Do you prefer Rainy or Rainey?
I never spelled Rainey. I don't know where you come from.
Yeah, where did I get that?
I think it came from the WhatsApp for some reason.
Yes, I was going to say.
We had a WhatsApp group chat at one point, and I feel like it was in there as Rainey.
I think somebody started,
I think someone probably
that way.
Yes, I think someone probably put Rainey and called you that, and I was like, there it is.
Yeah, if you go to Starbucks, if they write name, if you say Rainy, they put a Rainnie.
Oh, interesting.
Is it like a Renee? It's not Rainy, right?
It's got to be like a bunch of hipsters.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, great. I will fix it in my phone. Well, because I texted Rachel and she was in the other room, and I was like, what do you have Rainy as in your phone? And she was like, I also have Rainey. So that's why I think it did come from the WhatsApp group. It doesn't
matter Rainy or, Rainy or Rainey because that's not my name. You cannot, find me with that name anyway.
Okay, great.
If you call police, hey, I need to find this person. They cannot search their database, Rainy. Where's Rainy? Because I'm not there.
Yeah.
You'd make a great spy.
Yeah, you really
Just
would.
like fly under the radar with your multiple names and spellings.
That's what my friend said. If you want to get United States citizenship, you have a chance to change your name. Put it Rainy right there. Put it on first or middle. Just put it there. I said, okay, I'll think about it.
Did you? Or are you?
No, not yet.
Mm-mm. Have you applied for citizenship?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. Yeah. How long have you lived in the States?
Well, I have been. My first time I came to the United States is 2008. That's
okay.
about
like 13 years ago?
Yeah, 13 years ago. But that's for work.
And
it's kind of story. I worked for a joint venture company back in Beijing, in China. And during 2007, 2008, this financial crisis. So they closed the regional office and then they kept me. They wanted me to work for the corporate. So the boss brought me to the United States and asked me, would you like to work here and live here for a long period of time? But back then, I didn't want to. Because I was in my 20s. I didn't think about it, just move to another country, just, do my life. So I said, let me try with business visa for 1 year. Let's see how it goes. So that's where I started to come to the United States. So in my 20s, travel a lot. Back and forth, United States, China, Korea, Japan, Hong Kong, even Dominican Republic. So it's basically I'm flying there all the time. And I did that for a couple of years. And until 2010, my dad got a heart surgery. So I started thinking, hey, I don't want to, just living homeless no more. I need to think about my life where I want to really live or work. So I talked to my boss. I said, hey, I think I need to take a break. I may resign, quit this job, and I want to try to find something else to do. So my boss talked to me. He said, Rainy, would you like to go back to school? Because I was I never thought about that. And he said, if you wanted to apply for a graduate, right, we can support you. You can just apply for a graduate school in the United States.
What?
Yeah, you still can work, part-time, right? Just think about your life. I said, okay, I'll try. So I started preparing for the graduate school, but in my mind siding, I said, I'm done for school. I'm not really those type of person really into study. So I was what I'm going to do? Since I had a work experience, I didn't want to go to the regular, a graduate, majors. I was let me try MBA. It's harder, but I have a good excuse to say to my boss. I said, hey, I applied. I got rejected. That's,
This is so much your personality.
I know, this is such a Rainy story. Also, Rainy, I'm going to have you move your mic a little bit further from you.
Okay.
Yeah. Split the difference a little bit.
Okay.
Come forward a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Great. Thanks.
Yeah, so I did study. Okay, I cannot say I didn't study. I did study, and I took the test, right? My score is not that high. Back then, I have to go through the agent. In China, we have a lot of overseas schooling agent. They help you to prepare the test and to apply the schools, and then they help you to choose which one you want to go. I said, okay, they normally apply 8 schools for you. I said, okay, why so many? I did.
You're I'm not actually trying to go, you guys.
I didn't understand that, but later I understand because they keep asking me or pushing me. Hey, Rainy, you should go this one. You should go to this one. You should go to this one. I said, why? I didn't understand, but later I understand. You know why? Because they charge based on the ranking. Oh. For example, if you go to top 10. They charge you maybe 30% more than you go to regular school. Wow. They think, they helped you to get a better school, so they charge you more. So that's why I pissed off the agent. They applied 8 schools for me. I got 7 offers.
Oh.
Surprisingly, I didn't even look at the rankings. In my man citing,
people go through life like this now. Okay.
Like, what does that feel like?
7
Okay.
out of 8.
Yeah, I didn't understand because I think maybe because for MBA, for the overseas students, when you apply for MBA program in the United States, they do interview over the phone, or back then it's Skype. Right now, nobody uses that no more, but back then it's like Skype, you know. I'm sorry, we don't have Zoom back then. I'm old. Sorry.
No,
I still use Skype.
Yeah.
I was like, why does Rachel Lamb look so hurt? And I'm like, oh, because you still use Skype.
Yeah, so because for a lot of like Asian students, their problem is they can understand English, they can write well, they can read well. Their problem is they cannot talk. They get nervous, or their oral English is not that well to communicate with other people. So that's why the academic advisors, they want to check if your English is sufficient to understand the graduate schools, you know. So I mean the courses at least, because there are a lot of the communications in the management courses. So I got a call, literally like 2 calls. Well, I was in Dominican Republic on a business trip. They called me and they just ask basic questions, and they started talking to my background and my working experience. I said, hey, listen, I do not have time for this. I'm sorry. And so I just hung up, you know, like after like 5 minutes. And they said, okay, good. But they gave me the offer with the I-20, signed the I-20. I said, okay. And then the agent tried to persuade me to go to Miami University. I didn't know, you know, Miami University is ranking 40s.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Back then, like a general ranking.
Sure.
So my mom asked me, hey, Miami is like Hainan in China, right? I said, yeah, it's like they have oceans, you know. My mom said, no, don't go there. I said, why? You're gonna have a hurricane. I said, okay. Then, so I look, you know, New York. I got 3 offers in New York. One is Fordham. I didn't know Fordham is a good school either. The only scared me off because I think it's a Catholic school. On their syllabus, they have a mandatory course. It's like you have to study God. I'm sorry, it's mandatory. It's not selective.
Yeah.
It's mandatory. So
Well, you guys saw it on the podcast, could see her face when she said that.
yeah,
It was
I'm
like
sorry,
kind and disappointing.
I'm sorry. I'm a foreigner, okay? My English is not sufficient to understand those God languages, you know, especially those, you know, English words consist of like 10 or 11 letters. I don't know what does mean.
Yeah.
And they use a lot of like
None of us do.
old English, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I cannot understand that. I said, no, I
The
can't.
Sadducees and the Pharisees.
So I cannot do that. I'm sorry, I cannot do that. So I checked. I went to Pace University. I checked the ranking. It's in China's, you know, ranking is like 161. I think, okay, this school must be easy. Right? Because it's not a, you know, high ranking school. Is, you know,
It's so funny because I've always thought of Pace was a good
Me
university.
too.
Listen, that's the point. Okay? I didn't know.
Sorry, spoiling you.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it's easy because ranking wise, it's beyond 100, right? But when I got there, when I see my I-20, all the requirements, right? I have to do 58 credits to finish this program, which is lasts like 3 years, 4 months. And they require minimum 3.5 GPA to be graduated.
Oh my God.
I love that you accidentally went to an elite school.
So I got so confused. I said, why? And Fordham only have to do 42 credits. And 3.0. I can get my degree. So I asked a few people. They say, you didn't know? I said, didn't know. Because Pace is not like, you know, general university. Because they started as a accounting school. So they are top like a business school. if you check business school ranking, Pace is on top. It's within 15. I was like, what?
MBA from one of the top 15. Whoops.
Yeah. and I have graduated from college over 4 years. So they cannot give me any credit I took in college. So I have to start from 0 to 58. I was like, oh my God, this is going to take forever. So I talked to my boss. I said, hey, I cannot do part-time. Look my syllabus, okay? I have 58 credits to do, and I need to study. It's very hard. 3.5, GPA is ridiculously high. I need to study. So my boss said, okay. Well, I'd like to do a full-time school. I said, okay. And but he said, then I cannot give you that much, financially support. I said, okay, that's fine. I just do not want to work.
How did you go from saying I don't want to go back to school to I'm okay going back to school full time and not working?
Because back then, because my industry is kind of, I'll give you a little bit of background. It's a scrap business. So you have to make it simple. If you're doing a regular like commodity trading, it's easy. Everything has a standard. For example, the cup, right? If there's a crack, that's a defect. You send it back, right? But scrap business is like my mom said, to be easy. You're buying trash. So you cannot claim, hey, this trash is not qualified for trash. The quality is no good. You cannot do that. But there's still standard. For example, the copper wires, like the wires we're using right now, is copper inside. We recycle this. There's still a standard. But, it's not like a regular commodity. You cannot just say, hey, this is a defect. We do not have 5% copper recoverable in it. You cannot say that. So you have to deal a lot of like headaches. Because I was in that department. I have to deal with the shipments, which is bad. You have to deal with the just basically you need to dealing with the like trucking companies or container companies, forwarding companies. Is all kind of headaches you have every day. It's overwhelmed, already. So it make me feel like depressed too, and I have to travel back back and forth to the United States, Asia, and the time difference. I started losing a lot of hair in 2010.
Really?
Wow. Yes, because the thing about it, 3 o'clock in the morning, somebody call you, hey, Rainy, wake up. We need to go, go through all the invoices. You have to wake up. I said, okay. So it's basically, I didn't get enough like time to adjust my body or to eat well. So back then even you still think I'm skinny right now, but I'm telling you, I'm much better right now. Back then I'm like maybe 90 pounds. I lost a lot of hair. So I just wanted to stop, to pause myself for a second, to at least do something good to my body and then mentally too. So I just waited a little bit and said, hey, looks like school is easier than job. So, okay, since I got accepted, right, and I decided to go, then I'm just go to school. Because the school life is much simpler than working.
And was this company going to pay for your schooling still?
They before they want to pay, but on the conditions like I need to work.
Right. So now you're not going to.
I'm not going to do that. But I said, okay, it's fine. I'm going to pay for myself.
Wow. What a 180 you did from going, I don't want to go back to school to, okay, actually I changed my mind. I got into this
elite top 15 business school for an MBA program.
Yeah. I feel like there was probably how much time passed between you saying, I'm going to try to like flop these tests and these applications to, okay, I got it and I'm actually going to.
Okay. I started my test is like 2000. At the end of 2010, I got accepted like for the fall semester 2011.
Got you. Okay,
So
there's
it's
a bit of
basically for
time.
a few months. I talked to my family too. I said, hey, I want to go back to school. All my family members, they think I'm crazy. Because in China, you know, at that age, I'm already 26 or 27. Nobody go back to school at that age. Especially, you know, because I was born in 1980s. So all my friends around me, they already getting married and they had a kid. Only me, I was like, Mom, I'm going back to school. My mom was like, are you out of your mind? Right? And because I had a good job. And back then, I already bought an apartment in Beijing. Think about that, you know. I'm paying the mortgage, you know. My life is pretty decent, you know. I can do whatever I want to do. But if I gave up the job and I go back to school, it's basically I'm taking out all my savings out of my pocket because it's expensive. Think about the exchange rate. Back then, it's 7. So $1 is 7 my currency.
Yeah.
So I talked to my mom because I may need her support if I decided not working at all because they do not allow us to work at the first year anyway.
For the visa? Or?
Yeah, for the visa, for the F1 visa. So I can only start it on the second year. So my first year, I'm going to be on myself anyway. So I may need my mom's financial support. And I talked to her. She said, but eventually she said, okay. So I didn't have any like worries behind me. So I just went to school.
Are you the only child?
Yes,
You
I am.
Yeah. Was your family, so they were initially probably very surprised and not a fan, but by the time your mom came around, was she like, yes, this is right for you and your health and everything like that?
My mom didn't know I went through so much stress. In my family members, you know, opinion that I'm just a wild horse in the family. I'm just doing whatever I want to do. I'm living my best life at any time. But I never let them know what stress I'm getting from the work or personal life. I think that's a lot of, you know, Asian kids tend to do in front of the parents. You know, they do not let them know the bad part. They only let them know, hey, I'm good. Everything's good. Even you are going through hell, you're not, you know, seeking help from your parents.
How long were you feeling depressed and not okay during that time period?
About 2 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Long time, yes. I can feel my body is reacting crazily. Like I said before, I had a very sensitive body. So I started feeling a lot of, you know, discomfort everywhere. I think it's, you know, psychological. I think you have, when your body is too stressful or mentally too stressful, your body reacts.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because sometimes I've been in very stressful situations or that are just unhealthy, and I feel like my whole body hurts, and like I feel like all of the things that are already there become a lot worse. And then when I remove myself from that situation, it's not that those issues always go away, but like half of them will go away, or they at least ease up. So that makes total sense. I feel like
I got in a fight with my husband and he broke out in hives because I was mad at him, as he should. But it really is. I mean, like he had like a full blown rash because he was stressed out from me being bad at him.
Yeah.
And it went away after we resolved it. I'm like, I don't understand how the body works, but I do think that stress has like a real like factor in it.
Human body is like sophisticated, you know, machinery, you know, you never know what's going to happen.
Some mystery algorithms in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you came to the US, you went to PACE, and you finished the program?
In 2 years.
In
58 units in 2 years.
Yes.
Of course you did.
Of course you did.
I just, I just asked if, my academic advisor, can I do summer? Because the summer semester is more, because, you know, when you really go to school, you feel bored.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because especially for me, I have worked outside, you know, in just like freely for 5 years.
Yeah, I would have no desire to go back.
Yeah, because the first time when I sit in the classroom, I really feel like I cannot sit here for 45 minutes. I need to walk out. I need to walk out. But the good thing is I took 2, it's like a communication, or it's called communication skills. It's not really my like academic, required courses. Those courses are set for those Asian kids whose English is not sufficient enough. You go is like preparing yourself for the, a semester. So I took 2 courses for that. That's, kind of prepare myself to sit there, 45 minutes, 50 minutes. So, but I feel grateful, I learned a lot because the professor there, she's a Jewish woman. She's just tough. She's just really
Jewish New Yorker.
Yeah, she's just tough. I just learned a lot from her. So I feel grateful, But after that, I started being stressful over the academic courses, especially for those data analysis things. For management course, I'm okay. And a lot of like Chinese students, they knew me. It's not like literally knew me, but they knew me for, hey, there's a girl, going to presentation every day without notes. And because the MBA program is like a presentation every day.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah, and you do not have textbook. It's basically all case studies. For example, what happened to Apple yesterday? They just printed out today, group discussion and then presentation. Individual presentation, group like a presentation. So that's the most scary thing for a lot of Chinese, kids. They can do good on tests. They cannot talk. If they talk, they need a chichi. Shit, they need to rate. But, because I'm on the MBA program, they didn't know. Because a lot of, kids, I call them kids because they normally like 5 or 6 years younger than me. They are in the like financial management program or investment, program. They have some courses, collaborate with my courses like management, but it's very small. So they feel so surprised that they see a Chinese girl going to do a presentation without any notes, and I can answer questions. So later on, they started, talk to me. They knew I'm not in the financial management or investment management program. I'm MBA. I have working background. So they started to understand. They said, okay, let's do group, assignments together.
She's our girl.
They're going to be easier for them, but I don't mind. But I never feel stressful over the management or like a case study because I have work experience which help me, I can understand what they're talking about. But for those data, analysis or modeling things, because we had to do a lot of financial modelings, is too far away from me. I graduated from, colleges way like back.
What was your undergrad in? Was it just general business or?
No, it's English.
Wow.
So for mathematics, anything related to mathematics or statistics, right?
Did you have accounting too?
No.
What? Rainy.
So it's very hard for me, but accounting is okay for me. It's not that bad as, financial modelings, especially they tell you, hey, you want to do predicting how much the tickets that are going to reserve for different, website to sell. I was like, oh, why do I need to know that? But professors say, hey, you are in this major, you need to know. That's why you're here for. So that's the, really, really hard part for me, anything related to data and, mathematics. But I still, it's very hard, but I did.
Yeah. What did you do when you came out of grad school?
I went
back to school.
No, that's a really, really, I cannot say I regret my, decision back then, but it's really, really, really interesting. When I finished my graduate school, my parents talked to me. They say, hey, because I'm the single kid, right? They do not want me to stay in the United States forever. They wanted me to go back. So we had a long, conversation back and forth. to say, hey, I'm going back or stay here. Because for international students, if you decide to stay here, you need to prepare yourself, before you graduate. You need to apply for OPT. And you need to apply, find a job, who can sponsor you H-1B, which is working visa. So I didn't want to give up that opportunity. So I applied for OPT. But my parents still ask me, hey, you need to come back to China. Because you already finished your, overseas schooling. You're going to have a better future when you come back to China. You're going to have better corporate jobs here. I said, okay, I will think about it. And my previous boss contacted me. He said, Rainy, I heard you are graduating. Congratulations. I didn't, expect you finish this quick. So what's your plan after your graduation? I said, I may go back to China. I may stay here. I didn't decide yet. I'm, I'm doing my internship at a small venture company in Wall Street. I just want to see how Wall Street, people works. I didn't really into it, but I just want to do. And after 4 months, I Wall Street is not for me. Even I didn't know that 72% the people who work in the the Wall Street companies, they are paid graduates.
Wow. Both of our jaws just dropped because that's a big statistic.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that. Because
with her dumb luck.
because the school is right by the Wall Street.
I was gonna say, I guess that
very
makes sense with
convenient.
proximity.
It's very convenient. So I was like, okay, I cannot handle this because you basically facing like 4 screens. Headache. You have to analyze all the stocks, like 30 to 50 stocks every day. Do the all the analysis and then hand it to your boss or manager, whatever. Since I'm an MBA graduate, right? I'm very good at executive summaries. So I never finish a single one, like a analyst, like a pages analyst. I only do executive summaries, 1 page. For 30 stocks, 50, it doesn't matter how many they get assign me in the morning. I just get 1 page, And then 2 weeks later, my boss noticed, he just talked to me, hey, Rainy, looks like you do not like, even my title is like, financial analyst, right? And he said, looks like you do not like those analytical works, right? I said, what do you mean? Right? I cannot say I don't, right? What do you mean? He said, I noticed your, everyday assignment when you gave it to me, you are so different from other people. I said, how different? He said, you just gave me, to make it simple, it's like you are giving me an analysis from not traditional analysis pathway. I said, can you tell me how did you do the 1 page, summary? I said, well, I didn't look there, K lines, that's because I feel I'm not good at mathematics or whatever numbers. Because I have a management background, so I just go to the company's website or the media to see what's going on with this company. So basically their decisions, as a management decision, they're going to affect, the stocks anyway. So I'm taking another route. So the boss was interesting. Because even you do that route, right? Because your analysis or prediction is 85% accurate. I said, oh, that's good. I didn't know, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, and he said, okay, it looks like you don't want to do this kind of job. Are you interested in doing risk management? I said, okay, I can try. What do I do for risk management, right? He said,
getting offered jobs, she doesn't know what they are.
I know, what is happening? She's has old bosses coming up being like, hey, I heard that you graduated. Meanwhile, I feel like we're knocking people's doors down being like, will you hire us?
Yeah. But this is the boss at Wall Street. He's not the old boss yet. Because at the intern.
Yes, sure. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. I meant prior in the story.
Yeah,
but yes.
Because this boss is really young. And he's running a small venture, he's doing, it's a small hedge fund, Yeah, he said, it's pretty much, we have a lot of, people knock on the door every day to ask for money to invest in their project. Your job is ask questions. So risk management is basically, you just need to look at their projects and see how they present it. And whatever question you have, just ask. If they can answer your question, that means they are prepared. They know what they're doing. Right? I said, okay. I can do that. I can try, right? So I started doing the risk management. And so later on, my boss started telling those, young kids just walking into the door, hey, you can answer Rainey's question, like 90%, I'll give you money right there. Because so people hate me. Because I ask so many stupid questions. I think it's stupid, but I have questions, right? But I didn't really, enjoy it, the financial things. It's not me, So at that time, my old boss walked back to me, hey, Rainey, are you interested in, open a new, scrapyard in Miami? I said, oh, Miami again.
She keeps coming up.
Yeah, maybe I should go there, right? So I just went there and I really liked it. So I stayed in Miami for 3 years.
I could see you in Miami. That makes sense.
Yeah. And it's really hard for a girl to run a scrapyard, but I did. But I still went back to China for 1.5 years, maybe 2 maximum. I tried, to, make my parents happy.
We all do.
I quit everything. Just went back to China, right? Wow. But it's like, it's very complicated, in the corporate, working environment in China. It's like basically, if I say I want this water, right? In China, you cannot say this directly. You need to go circling.
Can you give an example? So instead of saying, can I have this water? What does the circling look like?
It's like, hey, I want something.
What do you want, Rainey?
Well, something, I don't know. I just feel not comfortable. I just need something to make myself, feel comfortable.
What do you mean by not comfortable?
I don't know. It's just kind of feeling.
Okay. So a little, but what's more of what you don't want?
I don't want to be here. I want to go home. So it's not like, it's not like this, stupid circling, but it's like, especially when you talk to your senior like management or boss, you cannot say anything directly. Even this thing's wrong, you cannot say it. You say, okay, you need to, give a compliment for them first. Like, oh, this is a really good idea. And then when you really, go back to your work, desk, you starting put it into work, you start cursing your, inside. Say, why I have to do this stupid thing? It's not going to work. But you cannot say that directly to your boss. It's kind of that culture. And another thing is, if the boss is not leaving the office, right? You cannot leave. It's not they ask you to do overtime. It's a culture. Nobody leaves before the boss.
Oh, wow.
But the thing is that those stupid bosses, they do not come in the office 8 o'clock in the morning. They come at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. After they had all good time outside, I need to go back to check out all my people do, like 4 o'clock p.m. And then maybe 5:35, okay, let's have a meeting. So this is kind of, you make yourself really, really tired dealing with this kind of thing. Before I came to the United States, right, I didn't see the world, how the world is. I can handle that because I started from there. I feel okay. But once you see, okay, I can live in a different way and I have the option, you started, your brain is telling you, hey, Rainey, why you come back for this shit? Excuse my language, but, this is can't. And before, the interesting thing is, before I went back to China, my dad literally, he called me. He said, Rainy, you're coming back, right? Watch what you say.
Oh, wow.
You need to think before you say. You cannot, because in the United States, we literally can say everything.
You're encouraged to.
You have the right. You're entitled to, speak, to say anything. Even you curse the president. Another interesting is when I was in graduate school, right? My professor told us, hey, especially for your international students, right? If you feel like the president decision or policy affect you, any kind of rights, you can sue him. Know your rights, okay? You can go to any Supreme Court to file litigation against the president. All the Chinese students, what? How? Right? How can that, be? Because in China, you cannot say anything bad,
Yeah.
So my dad really called me saying, Rainy, do not say anything stupid, especially related to, politics related.
Did you feel like you had to, did it take work to second guess yourself after being here for so long?
Yes, I need to, it's really, really interesting, when I started, talking to my friends in China, I started, okay, I cannot say this. Especially like we have WeChat.
Yep.
Typing, no. So it's kind of, I don't want to live that way. I'm not commenting, China, or even I'm a Chinese, I'm not commenting anything, but I just think as long as I have other options, right? I do not want to live that way. If I do not have options, I have to deal with it. So I started talking to my mom. Hey, mom, I need to go. I cannot leave this. I'm going crazy. I'm just cannot handle this.
Was she understanding?
She did it. She think I'm crazy. I said, yeah, I am getting crazy.
You're like, that's the point. I need to leave because I'm going crazy.
I'm starting, getting angry really easy. I get mad over everything so easily because it's like, why this is happening, right?
Like
why I have to do this? Why I have to say this way? I can finish this water in like 20 seconds. Why you have to let me to do it in an hour? Why? And the thing is, you cannot say why. You can ask why. If you ask why, all the people surrounding is like, something wrong with this person. See, anybody come back, from overseas, they're crazy. So it's kind of like that, So I talked to my mom. I said, I cannot do this. I cannot do this. I cannot do this. So my mom, okay. If you really want to go, try. Because my mom knows it's not easy for us to go back to the United States after you gave up those status, I said, okay, I will try. So I started applying jobs. Okay. I got accepted from in Atlanta accounting firm.
Oh, very cool.
And lucky I didn't, because we have to go back to the H-1B drawing,
Oh, wow. Okay.
I got it.
Of course you did, Rainy. Of course you did.
The day I received the USCIS emails like I got accepted, I called my mom, I'm going. It was like, oh God,
wonderful.
I was so happy to come back.
When did you come back to Atlanta?
2018.
2018. Oh,
Like right before we met you.
I know this.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, the thing when I came here, but you have to go through the culture difference, reversal, culture difference, because I have to adjust myself all the time. So I feel depressed again. That's where I picked up dancing again.
Oh, interesting. Did you start dancing again in 2018 or was it 2019?
2019.
Okay, yeah.
Because I tried everything, because I knew myself. The good thing is when I feel depressed, right, even it's really, really bad, I knew how to deal with myself, because I like eating. I like food. I like, as long as I can eat well, I can, make myself happy. So back in 2019, I felt dangerous because eating is not making myself happy no more. So I tried everything. I like a road trip. I like drive long distance or going remote area, just driving. It's not happening either. So okay, let me try different things. So I just try everything I didn't do before. I went back to dancing.
What so you have a background in international dance?
Yes.
Correct? What were the years? Tell us a little bit about your background in dance, just so that we know how long it took before you got back to it.
Yeah, I started dancing quite a little, like a kindergarten. In China, because I was born in the 1980s, in 1990s, those, it looks like every the parents trying to send the kids to some clubs or classes, groups after the school. So my mom sent me to painting, dancing, singing, just everything, she can find. So as long as, I can stay there
after school.
Yes. So I started, it's not like a professional dancing, just like a hobby, I started a little. But I really started to dance regularly in college. Those activity groups, clubs. I joined a modern dance, and then which turned out to be International Latin Dance Club. Because I signed up is showing modern dance, and then the other one is traditional Chinese dance. So because Chinese is consists of 56, and it's like what's that called? It's like a national, different like groups,
like regions or.
It's more like ethnies. No.
Okay, yeah, like ethnic groups.
It's like that. Every minorities, they have their different culture and the languages than dance. So one is for that. I said, okay, I can handle this, right? But when I walked into that modern dance, club, this doesn't look like modern dance club, because back then it's like 2002, because the international Latin dance or ballroom dance is not popular in China. It's a really new thing to me. And back then we do not have smartphones either. I have to go to the computer to check what's international Latin dance is. And when I see is the Blackpool dance competition. The professional ones is really, really pretty. But the thing is, the girls are wearing, it's like
the revealing outfit.
Yes. So I gave up. I walked out. And, I called my mom and I said, Mom, this is not modern dance. This is the international Latin dance. And my mom said, what's international Latin dance? I said, well, when you watch those sports channel, it's there. It's considered as a sports dancing, right? They do the competition. And you see the girls, they barely wear anything. That's my original words.
Yeah.
My mom, surprisingly, she said, don't be stupid. That's art. I said, okay. If you say it's art, maybe I can do this. So I walked back, I started, doing that. And I think that's where I messed up my knees. Yeah, but I really had fun. You can see me in your class. I still have those Latin blood in myself because it's like, it's like a ballet, Once you learn that, it's in your blood. The muscle memories is just crazy.
In the little things, like how you walk, how you...
Yeah, it is.
Is that only in college that you did that?
Yes.
What?
I did 4 years.
This makes me wish I did more, because I did 1 semester of Latin ballroom and regular ballroom. So like 2 semesters of a social dance, and I should have just done it for 4 years because I really enjoyed it too, but I got the basics. Like I didn't do it like that.
I only did the Latin part. I didn't do the ballroom part because for the international dancer, they consist of 10 dances, right? I only did the Latin part.
My husband only did Latin. I feel like the Latin ballroom is actually more fun.
Can you explain the difference for people who don't understand the difference between like ballroom and like Latin?
Ballroom is like waltz. Is
foxtrot,
like,
waltz,
yes,
swing, East Coast swing.
It's not actually in the international Latin. It doesn't call swing.
Oh, interesting.
It's called jab.
Oh,
What is it called?
Jive. Jive.
Jive. Oh, Jive. Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
Jive.
gotcha,
It's
gotcha.
Jive. It's a little bit different, but it's similar.
Ah.
That's the Latin part. So basically, I did a competition. But yeah, regional in China, we had a pretty, good score. We got the fifth, place.
Yeah. Wow.
But the only problem back then was like it's very hard to find a partner. You need a partner to do all the competition things. Girls are okay at dancing, but back then boys they feel like, why I'm doing this, right? I'd rather go play basketball.
My
or
husband was
football.
one of 2 men in his class.
Yeah, it's because in Chinese culture they're more conservative because they feel like I have to dance with a girl. A lot of intimate moves. So, but
you found a partner.
I did. I changed it partner for twice because my first partner is too tall. Yeah, it's just too tall. But
How different does the height need to be to have a good partner?
because girls normally wear high heels. It's like 12-inch. You still dancing like it's not tippy toe, but it's still dancing
Wow.
like this.
I didn't know it was that high.
When you do competition, but the regular
Yeah.
practice is lower, much lower.
Yeah. Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah,
12
so
inches. Holy shit.
yeah.
You don't seem surprised by that, Rachel Lim. Did you already know
Is
that?
it 12 inches between her and the partner though, right? Because your heels
No,
are
the
like,
heel.
Her heel is
The
12
heels,
inches.
normal
Yes,
heels.
I was like, why are
It's like this high.
I was like, why is this normal to you?
I don't even think my foot is 12 inches long.
Yeah, I'm like, how?
If you watch those the competition videos, you see those girls, the feet is like this.
Oh, they are like on point, I guess.
Yeah,
basically.
holy
They are.
shit. I mean, it gives you beautiful
Wow.
lines.
They mess up your
I was
toes.
gonna
I'm
say,
telling
it
you.
fucks up your whole body.
Because you have to drag your feet on the floor.
How is that? Because every time I watch them, like
Bleeding?
beautiful footwork, I'm like, I don't know how they have like the open-toed heels and then it's like bending
Bleeding.
upside down.
Bleeding.
Yeah, all the time, and
You know how I feel about toe
it's
tap
just-
or whatever that
Because
tap is that
all
we
the
do.
girls' feet, it's just ugly to watch, really, really ugly. So my mom said, Rainy, you need to stop this.
This
You're
is
like,
what
but it's art.
she drew the line at the ugly toes.
Because that's not my major anyway. I'm not going to be like a professional dancer anyway. I just did for fun. So
You did it all 4 years. You kept going anyways.
yeah, it's just group activities. It's not like but we are doing that on a regular basis. Yeah, so we do a lot of performances. If you go back to my college website, right, you still can find my dancing videos.
I would
Because I
love
was
to
so
see that.
because I was so popular back then.
Wow.
So it's just like because in back then it's college is life is kind of free, and different major different departments they have their own celebration parties. For example, Christmas, New Year, like for freshman welcoming party, or like a graduated or farewell party. They like to do the whole show. So we were busy going to different departments, even the TV shows.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun, Yeah.
And you enjoyed it. I mean, you did it all
I
3
enjoyed
years.
it. I enjoyed it. So it's kind of, that's why after that, when I started working, right, I travel a lot. There's one day in Dominican Republic, I woke up, I cannot move my left part of body. I was like, oh my God, am I having a stroke? I was like, literally, I cannot move for 30 minutes. And after that, my knee started hurting.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's I think 2009 or 2008. I was like, okay, no, this is not right. So this started hurts really, really bad. Lasted like 1 hour. So I went back to China. I did a scan, my both knees. The doctor said, hey, when did you start feeling the pain? I said, like a week ago. She was like, no, you're supposed to feel pain like years ago. I said, why? What's going on with my knees? And she's starting through a lot of terms, which I do not understand. Even in Chinese, that's terms that I don't understand. She said, let me put it simple way. Do you know Yao Ming? I said, yeah. Jackie Chan? I said, yeah. You have same problem with their joints. I said, I'm not that professional, athlete or whatever, right? Why am I having that? She said, maybe because you're too skinny. you don't have enough fat or muscle to protect your joints. So you're overusing them. So you have a lot of problem in your both of knees. I said, so what should I do? Can I fix them? And the doctor say, not yet. I said, what do you mean not yet? And she said, it's messed up, but they are not completely worn out yet. If they are completely worn out, you can do surgery, like replace it, do artificial one, just like a young
Soccer players and stuff.
just put a fake one there. But yours are still working. So literally, right now you don't have really like good choices to do anything. Just be careful. I said, what do you mean be careful? I said, can I dance? She said, no. And then what else? She said, you cannot ride bicycle no more for the rest of your life. Avoid a bicycle. Any movement like this. And when you see stairs, even second floor, just ignore anybody, saying anything behind you. Just take elevator, even second floor. Avoid stairs. I said, what? Why? She said, just listen to me. If you still want to stand up at your age 55, do this. I said, okay. Is that serious? So I took the report. I have the scanning, pictures on that. So I sent to my mom. My mom is doctor too. She said, Rainy, just don't worry about it. Doctors, they intend to say something scary you, don't worry. Let me go check with it. So she took the report to her colleague, Hey, look at this. She didn't say whose report it is. Hey, check the image. Let me know, how the knees, is good or bad or how bad it is. And her colleague came back the same thing. My mom was like, oh. Because her colleague think the scanned image came from like somebody like 60s or 70s. Is that bad? Back then, I was like, oh my God. So my mom was like, okay, I think you need to stop doing everything.
But you had already stopped dancing at this point, right? Because you were working, not dancing.
Yes.
But you couldn't do all the other things like take stairs, ride a bike.
Did something aggravate it when you were in the Dominican? Because you were in the Dominican Republic when you woke up.
That's I got curious too. Maybe because the humidity triggered this.
Oh,
maybe
interesting. Because I actually have the same problem when it rains. But I have a history, I think, of like rheumatoid arthritis in my family. Yeah. But like anytime like the weather changes, I get like creaky and.
Because I thought it was arthritis too. My mom sent me to the department to check the thing. I'm not. It's not that. So that's why they did the scan, my knee to see if they're like a injury or something. So that's
what. Like that's from dancing?
Because they asked me, what do you do? Are you an athlete? I said, no, I'm not. Are you doing sports? I said, no. Are you a dancer? I said, yeah, that's a long time ago. I did, I dance. And she said, that's why. That's why.
Those 4 years.
Yeah, that's why she said, that's why I'm saying you're supposed to feel the pain years ago, not just now. You're lucky.
What was the movement in international dance that probably aggravated it? Just dancing in general? Or is there like a repeat motion or something?
I think it's just intense because we have a lot of basic moves. It's really moving the knees like this because a lot of the movements knee going forward. Okay. Maybe. And maybe they're like the doctor said, I was too skinny. I don't have enough muscle around the joints to protect, and I was overdoing it. So it's like, I don't know. So
is it common for there to be knee issues in that type of dancing? I mean, I feel like I've had knee issues on and off since I was a kid, just from dancing. But I'm just curious if that's like very common with people who do international dancing.
I don't know. I think I'm the only one having knee problems so far.
I don't know. With the team.
It's gonna be like Jackie Chan and then international dance.
No, I think we need to ask those professional dancers. I think a lot, not only dancers. Any sports you gotta have something. I think because different people have different bodies. With parts.
Yeah, but now you dance again.
That's the thing.
Quite often.
I was like.
She's flipping off the air.
Yeah, life is short.
Yeah,
just do something. I feel good. Even I need to be on wheelchair. Because the United States they have a pretty cool wheelchairs.
We figured out how to sit down and move with a motor.
Yeah, that thing can run 40 miles per hour.
So you were like,
going downhill with it.
Because I really stopped, doing any sports or activities for 2.5 years. And I started taking supplements. Oh, let me, this is not an advertisement, but I did take some supplements which stopped my pain.
Wow.
I didn't
Was it
feel
like glucosamine or something? Or is it that glucosamine? Is that what it's called? I don't know.
no, I cannot say the brand name, but
it's a brand. Okay.
yeah, I
it's
cannot
a
say the
brand.
brand name, but that thing really works. It really works. So I took that for 2 years, and I stopped that right there. Never feel pain, and I started dancing regularly starting from 2019. So, which is, I don't know, maybe it's mood, Like I said, the human body is just sophisticated, machinery. As long as she's happy, okay, I'm not giving you a problem.
Yeah, it does feel like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes also I'm like, I do so much for you, and in return you give me pain.
Do you feel like in like the time periods that you were dancing lining up with like and when you weren't dancing lined up with periods of stress in your
that's what I'm saying, because
I'm thinking of the breaks that you mentioned and like some of your low points. I'm wondering how corresponding.
When I was feeling really low, like I said, I like eating. I need to find different stuff to eat. I don't mind to drive like 40 minutes or 50 minutes to get something I want to eat. That's the thing. But in 2019, it's really get a really dangerous point that nothing cheer me up. I can feel, it's not suicidal, but I just feel like life has no point, just nothing is, I don't feel anything. Just make myself like interesting or whatever. Just so bored, I'm done. I'm done for this life.
Yeah, I had that recently. And then I was like, I need to be in a dance class. And it had been, several months, and I took a dance class. And after one dance class, I was like, I called Rachel Lamb and I was like, I'm a new person. Like, I feel like myself again. And I was trying a lot of different things too. And I was like, and it's not always the answer, but it's a lot of times for me, dance classes will kind of help get me in a better place.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because the other day, was talking to me, she was feel like really, really depressed too. And she doesn't feel any, she just feel nothing interesting. I said, just you need to understand yourself. You need to find something really, really can cheer yourself up, at least a little bit, right? Little. So I tried everything. I went to golf, but when I play golf, right, my mind still can go circling. It's not so concentrated. I still can think about, okay, life is it's just so frustrating. I don't find any point in to go on this. But when you go dance, right, especially when you're learning new moves, when you hear the music, you don't have space to think of anything else.
Yes.
Maybe that's a mind clearing.
Yeah, aspect. It's just like, it's just so focusing. I need to catch the move. I need to, that's why I tried different, classes.
Yeah, you take a lot of classes, period. You take a lot of different classes.
I tried every classes, I love your classes. The only thing that my knees cannot handle. Just too much for me. Just like, I can't.
It's a lot of squatting and shaking of the ass.
Now we know the source of your knee problems.
I need to preserve my knees for later, So I started trying different, classes. So, yeah, I still, at least right now, I feel okay. Although, I still feel some up and down sometimes, personal life, work or whatever, but I still feel dance is like, my happy, source.
Yeah. How quickly, when you started taking dance classes again in 2019, did you start to feel an improvement in your mood?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Wow.
3 weeks.
Wow.
Because if you check my history, I was taking minimum 3 classes in a row.
In a day.
Back then we didn't have this stupid pandemic or cap.
Yeah.
So I'm trying different things. But now it's like we had a cap. So believe it or not, I picked up a tapping.
I love tap dancing. That makes me so happy.
It's very hard for me.
Yeah, it's hard, for everyone. Yeah, it's hard.
I don't have rhythm. I know this is like a fatal flaw of dance if you don't have rhythm and musicality, but I just watch it. I'm like, wow, amazing.
Did you buy tap shoes and everything?
I did.
You did?
Yeah, because before when the dancing studio, they offer workshop, right? I took the workshop, but the thing is, after the workshop, the instructor doesn't treat us as a beginner. They just...
Here's your introductory. Now you're a tap dancer.
Yeah, I cannot follow, so I gave up. But right now they have a new instructor who is, introducing the basic taps. I can follow. Even I still look stupid, but I can follow. I'm trying to push myself, to go.
Yeah, that's awesome though that you found a teacher that's like breaking it down in a way that you can understand it more and it's more accessible.
Yeah, I'm trying to take off all the Latin, blood of my dance. I'm trying to learn hip hop, trying to get down, get low.
You're good at hip hop. You're really good at hip hop.
No. If you see, I still have those, I don't know.
I feel like, so my, hot take, but I feel like some of the most dynamic dancers are people who cross train in a lot of different styles, because then you see
when you make it your own, it has its own flair to it.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite. And when I think about my favorite dancers growing up, because I grew up competing, my favorite dancers were the ones who trained in everything. So they did ballet, tap, jazz, modern,
everything,
Latin,
right?
They did everything. And then you saw, because no one else danced like them, and no one else dances like each other anyways. But
the thing is, if you want to do everything right, you gotta have that talent.
Sure.
I don't. Okay. It's something
says the woman who's still on her college website for dance.
I'm so sorry.
Maybe I think because it's like a learning languages, I can speak English, I can speak Korean, I can speak a little bit Japanese. But my second language when I was in college, because my major was English, right? I have to pick up another language, which is French. I didn't learn anything, literally nothing. And right now, same thing happened to Spanish. And French and Spanish, they look so similar, They have a different grammar. They have a different, the way of forming the thing.
The Latin-based languages.
Yeah.
I took 5 months of Mandarin. I can't speak a word of Mandarin.
See, this is the thing,
and everyone's like, well, what did you do? I'm like, I can't even explain it. I try to pronounce vowels and sounds together for 5 months.
I have a Korean friend. She learned English for 2 years. She still cannot get it. But for Chinese Mandarin, she learned in 8 months.
What?
She can communicate with Chinese. So people, the brain, or, you never know.
It's like French and Spanish versus you trying to learn Korean. The cross between the languages have such even in Chinese, there's not, the articles are different. The past, present, and future is different because
the Chinese, they have different languages too. You know, the basic Chinese you mentioned is Mandarin, and then another one is Cantonese, right? For me, I do not understand Cantonese. I do not speak Cantonese either. So it's a foreign language to me too.
Yeah. But you're saying the parallel you're drawing is that in dance, there are certain things like international dancing when you were in college that are just come easier.
Yeah, it's come easier.
To your body.
Yeah, it's come easier to my body. Yeah.
Whereas other things like hip hop and tap are a little bit.
Yeah.
What are some of the ones that are easier between international dance and the styles that you find easier than hip hop?
And the Chinese traditional dance is easier for me.
Oh, okay.
And the jazz, because jazz has a lot of similar moves, for the Latin, moves just a little bit. But for hip hop, I don't know. It's just too difficult for me. For my body just looks so stupid. I can do the moves, I can do the moves, but if you look at me and look at the instructor, we're dancing to different
Wow, I love that phrase. We're dancing two different dances.
Yeah, it's just
that was beautiful, Rainey. I'm gonna put that on a pillow.
Yeah, add it to our pillow series.
Yeah, it's just seriously, just so stupid. I still remember when I first took, because I walk by class all the time before, right? And I was like, what class is this? Everybody look like superstar. And their bodies is so loose, It's just like everybody's just performing. It took me 6 months to finally have the courage to sign up for one class. And I look so stupid there.
But she's a great teacher, I've heard. I'm not taking her class.
Especially starting from the cross floor walk. You know, she normally...
You know how I feel about getting thrown into a walk.
Rachel Lamb's like, the hardest thing to do in a dance class is walk across the floor.
I'm like, 2-3 years later, it's still, so it's like, we're doing across the floors. I'm
it's
just
like we're walking Walmart, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's like walking like they are walking Broadway. I'm looking like I'm walking Kroger or Walmart. I just cannot do that.
It's so vulnerable too.
But right now I'm good.
And your heads up, like not looking at the floor. I notice in regular life how much I look at the floor because of how much I want to look at the floor and dance.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a question that I ask everyone that comes on. Is there a traumatic dance class experience? And if you need to broaden to dance, that's fine. But a lot of people who find new styles of dance or find dance as adults, I feel like they have some sort of traumatic story where they go in and maybe the teacher isn't very kind or the environment isn't good or...
You didn't get a single step.
Yeah. Shu was the first time she took my class. So it can also be my class. I'm just curious if you have one though.
Tap.
Wow.
Was your first tap class?
Yes.
It was. I know you kind of already talked about it, but is it just because you were like, it wasn't broken down to a point that it felt accessible to you?
No, it's like he broke down because it's a workshop. It's supposed to be everybody's like a zero, you know, it's like zero experience. But surprisingly, at that workshop, I'm the only one with zero experience.
Oh,
like someone took like a tap class in college or something.
Or like kids, you know,
wow.
They're just picking up, you know. I was like, what is this? You know, I don't know the terms. I don't even know how to make a sound, you know. And surprisingly, my left feet cannot get off the, ground. You just cannot separate it. It's just weird. So I was so frustrated, you know. It's just really, it's a 6-week workshop. You have to go 6 times, right? For the second week, I was like, I don't want to go. It's like I really, really don't want to go. It's just like it's so hard for me. But I pay for it. You know, the brain's like, Rainy, you paid extra for this. You know, you need to go. At least, you know, even you stand there, watch them. It's like watch a show.
That's a motivating factor for things.
Yeah. So I just I finished the 6 weeks workshop, but I didn't back then. I didn't think I learned a thing because as long as I walk out of the studio, I don't remember a thing.
So every week, were you dreading going?
Yeah, I was trying going. And there's another class it's called a musicality. It's just too advanced hip hop. It's just so hard to follow.
That's a difficult class. Our friend teaches that from the acting studio.
Got you.
It's really pop and locky, and so there's not a lot of repeat movement, which makes it challenging for a beginning hip hop class.
Yeah, it's not for beginner. Definitely,
I think
not.
it is labeled as intermediate, but
so it's interesting because it sounds really terrible for 6 weeks, but you're still tap dancing.
Yeah,
how did that happen?
Well, I really, really want to. It's really cool. Like Rachel said, it's a really cool thing. You know, you can tap. You know, because when I was a kid. Well, my first, experience, I mean, like visually, experience for the tap dancing is what they call river. Oh, I watched it on TV. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, river dancing.
Yeah, river dancing. I was like, I want to do that.
I wanted to do that as a child too, even though I have 0% Irish in me.
Yeah, I was like, but in China we don't have that experience. You know, it's very hard to find those kind of instructors or whatever. So as long as I'm exposed to the chances, I can learn tap as an adult. I want to try. Yeah. Unless my body tells me, hey, Rainy, you cannot do this. Right? But it looks like my right foot can do it right now, Left foot is still working.
Your left foot will catch up.
That's normal. So Rainy's making movements with her hands. The thing about tap dancing is that it requires a lot of isolations between your toes and your heels.
Yes, you get loose.
You have to. So it's like you have to. Yeah,
relax.
You want to tighten because you want to be like toe heel or heel toe heel. Like you just want to control it with your
twerking,
ankle.
where you have to have it on one way but not the other. Or something.
Yeah, so you have to allow your ankles and your feet to get really, really loose, which is why you do all these like taps
that's
in the
my
beginning
problem.
of class. Yes, that's everyone's problem. So there's a huge hurdle in tap dancing is just learning to loosen up. So that's what, if you're not familiar with tap dancing, that's what Rainey keeps referring to when she's like, my right foot can do it, but my left foot's like struggling.
Do you think with that, like tap would correlate to better hip hop dancing too? Because there's so much like ball, heel, toe stuff in hip hop too.
I am of the mindset that all dancing helps all dancing. There's also a specific musicality to tap dancing that I think comes into play with hip hop. Also, not all, but there is a style of tap dancing that's very grounded. Like you're like digging into the ground, and there's something to be said about using your plie and digging into the ground and staying grounded that can work to your favor in hip hop. Also with jazz, contemporary, everything, like it all starts to cross
Actually, now that I think about it, I have seen some people even do like a hip hop tap piece.
Absolutely. And tap has really taken on a whole new form in the last many years. Like, you know, we had like Gene Kelly and
I mean, even watching White Christmas, and the actress who plays the younger sister had that like vibrating foot and like,
yes,
I don't even know how else to describe it. That's what it looks like. It looks like it's just there like vibrating.
It's so hard to me. That is the hardest thing to do in
Can
tap.
anyone really, do people do that? I thought it was like one of those like stunning things that she did back then.
I mean, it is, but also people do it. Like that's part of a warm up almost. Like now you're just like tapping your foot to try to loosen everything up. I don't know. I haven't tapped in years, but I grew up tapping and I love it. I loved it. I've been considering taking classes again, so I'm glad that you're saying this.
You don't need to take class. You can teach.
You don't need to subject yourself to this misery.
But I do find it really incredible that you were like, no, I really want to learn this, and I'm going to, like, this was not a good experience for me, but I'm going to continue to pursue this. I think that's actually really admirable because
it's really hard to find like a really neutral level tap that class as long as there is. I wanna learn.
There aren't a lot of people who tap. Here's the thing about tappers, because a lot of competition kids do tap, or we did back in the day. I don't know that it's as common now actually,
but because I felt like almost every kid who did dance did like a tap piece, a jazz piece, or whatever.
Exactly. You know? And so it's not quite as common, or from my experience teaching in studios, tap is like, it's just not as common, which makes me really sad. But even when I started dancing professionally in LA, 2006, 2007.
She's like aging myself here.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I just was also trying to think, I'm like, how long ago was that? I mean, this was like, 15, 16, 17 years ago. And I was like fresh out of like my competition days. And so I was like, well, you're told that you keep up on all your skills. So I was like, I need a good ballet class, tap, jazz, hip hop, all the things. And it was hard for me to find tap classes back then. And I think it's probably even harder now. And that was beginning, intro, or especially advanced. And a lot of times what I'm seeing is, and again, this is my own experience, is that people who do tap growing up, it's like you're not working professionally as a tap dancer as much as other styles. So you don't have as much of an incentive to keep up that skill. And then I think it's just
Save Broadway, I mean, or even like, I mean, I guess they would do it maybe on cruise ships. I'm trying to think of places that they would use that professionally.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think in my entire career, I've done like 3 tap gigs. You know what I mean? Like not very many. And so
what were they, just out of curiosity, if you can place them? Was it like a wedding, or was it like a
no,
a show?
They were like one was like a presentation to Disney. I think I can say that. It was like this, like they were like pitching something for something to the board. So they like brought us in to do this piece, and like it was, I don't know. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, why did you do that typical performer thing where you were like, yeah, I can do anything? Because you already had the job. You could have just been like, I'll do it in jazz shoes. But you're like, I'm a tapper, whatever. And then another one was,
it's like me when they're like in auditions, they're like, you can use an instrument and show us what you can do. And I'm like, but you don't need to.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm like, I can't, I will not do that. Like, I'm just like, it's what's even the point? And sometimes when I catch myself doing it, I'm like, yeah, I can, ride a horse while playing a trumpet. I'm like, why did you say that? And I'm like, nothing, couple lessons can't fix it at the stables. Yeah. So, and then another one was, like a fundraiser with like a bunch of celebrities. Like we performed with Catherine Zeta-Jones, and she was like, I feel weird dropping names, but you asked, but she was like wonderful. And I was like, you can tap, girl? Like, I was like, okay. But it was like this fundraiser where they were raising money for an arts organization. And so
they were all voluntary too. They were like, you don't have to, but if you want to use it, do it in your
No, that
tap?
one I had to do tap.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you could tap. Girl was like surprised, like you got hired for something else.
Oh, no, sorry. About Catherine Zeta-Jones. I was like, oh, Catherine Zeta-Jones can tap.
Oh, she can tap.
Yes.
Okay.
I know.
Wow.
You know, she's perfect. But yeah, so I think all that to say, I think that a lot of people don't end up teaching because then there aren't gigs. And so people, when they come out of competition dance, even if they grew up tapping, they go more into jazz, hip hop, or they're like prima ballerinas. So I think it's hard to find tap classes, probably even more so now than it was 15 years ago, which makes me sad.
It's like a dying art.
Yeah, although there are some choreographers in New York that are reviving the art form, if you will, that are like bringing.
Yeah, I guess there's been a couple good musicals lately, original musicals that are not so much like the remakes, but are you see more tap, or you see some of the period piece shows where there is tap. So I could see it. I could see, especially because we've been watching a period piece show recently that has a lot of dance in it. I'm like, I could see them doing that on there.
Yeah, and people, because we have new forms of media, people are playing with that and interacting with that in different ways, because tap is so engaging with so many senses. Like you're engaging with sound and visuals, and it also
has to be done right, because I feel like every time I've ever seen tap, I can never hear the tappers over the music on the stage. Like every time I've ever like watched a recital and live, I'm like, if not here, then where? You know, like if it doesn't work here, then like how do we make this art form work where you hear it and it's cool? I don't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We did see a really cool like beginner showcase recently, and there was a tap number, like a tap hip hop-ish number, and it was really cool. Good.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
I felt like they were doing some technically complex stuff.
Yeah,
because the swapping back and forth too was difficult. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, that could be you, Rainey.
That could be
in a couple of years.
Hip hopping and tapping.
Hip hopping
brand
and
new
tapping.
Girl.
Hip tapping.
Like her two like arch nemesis in dance.
I know. She's like,
you may see a whole different dance, you know, I created.
And so how long have you been tapping now at this point?
2 months.
2 months. And you take other styles still, right?
I do.
You do.
I'd be curious to like check in with you in the future and be like, when did it stop being miserable?
Yeah.
That's like for me, I'm like,
I don't
most
know.
of my dancing took 7-8 months of like 6 days a week, because I did the same thing where I was like taking multiple classes a day, going 5-6 days a week, and it took me quite a few months. But I'm also particularly challenged with musicality and
right
body
now
movement.
I feel more comfortable, maybe because this instructor really is like intro level. He breaks down every steps, and all the girls or boys walk into the studio, they are really intro level. They do not stress me out. You know, if you see a lot of people, they are advanced, they come to an intro class, you know, you feel like, oh my God, why I'm so stupid? I cannot do it,
And they're not really intro.
They're not really intro, that's not fair, sometimes. But, right now it's okay. I see a lot of really, really beginners. We are same level.
Yeah.
So everybody encourage everybody. So that's a really good environment,
That's an important note too. And we've talked about this, Rachel, and with other guests, of the students also set an environment for a class. So sometimes even if you really enjoy a teacher, if the other students in that class aren't in the same place or on the same wavelength, it can ruin a class, which is it's no one's fault per se, but it's really important when you're looking for classes, even if you're like, something doesn't feel right, but the teacher is good. It might just be also that other students are in there. And sometimes as a teacher, I think that it depends who they're matching the class to, because if 90% of the class is more advanced than a beginner, even in a beginning class, they'll start to match like their class to the higher
right now
people.
At the studio, those ballet, anything really technical things, they are so advanced, I'm avoiding any class of that.
Oh yeah. So there was one class that I went to that was a ballet class, and it was like 20 minutes of like free open stretch. And then I was like, I could do this shit at home. Like, what am I paying for? And then Molly's like, well, like if you went to like ABT or like somewhere, like, the dance class would actually be like that. I'm like, yeah, but that's not us. It was like unguided free stretch. I was like looking around. I'm like, okay, a lunge.
I was going to say just ABT. I was like, in general, like growing up doing ballet or in a lot of ballet classes, they will be like, okay, and now like usually after ronda jumps, they're like, great, now then take the rest of the song to just like stretch. And you're like, I could see if you didn't grow up dancing or taking ballet, you'd be like, what the fuck are we doing? Like,
what's so funny
I'm here to learn the stretches.
What's so funny is like when I'm at home, I don't mind like free stretching, but there's something about being in a class where it's like, okay, sure, I'll do my inner thigh right now. Like,
yes, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Absolutely. I also feel that way. And this is like a hot take, but when they're like, and then freestyle for these 3 8 counts. And I'm like, bitch, I came for you to give me things to do. Like, I don't want to think about it.
This
like,
isn't improv 101.
Yeah. We're here. You give me the moves and I'll do the moves. Okay. Like,
because you know that my 8 counts are going to be the choreography from Tuesday.
Yes. This is why every time I'm
every original thought of mine is going to be 3 combined moves from combos I've already done.
Absolutely. Or like a couple toe touches. Yeah. I feel like every time as a choreographer for class, when there are sometimes where I'm like, okay, maybe we just freestyle. And I'm like, absolutely not. Even if I'm just like, and then you walk in a circle for 8 counts. Like I will be like, do whatever you want with your arms. But like, I don't think I've ever done freestyle in my class. Cause I just like the anxiety that I get where I'm like, I don't know what to do with that. Yeah, everyone's shaking their head.
We're even instructor tell you, hey, do whatever you want. I don't care, right? But the students, like my level, we still have the tendency to copy whatever the instructor is doing.
Yeah, this especially, and then
even she's giving you like 100, different styles. I still copy the first one.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Pick a pose.
And then, whatever they do.
Everybody else.
I want you to know that I still do that. And I've been dancing for 30 years and they'll be like, pick a pose. And they do one. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to, like, then my body does it
and then
instinctively.
they change 3 and I'm like, you just gave away 3 of them.
or they go like this. And then everyone kind of like copies them. And they're like, well, don't copy me. I'm like, well,
my body doesn't know what
you
to do.
pick the most natural one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that happens a lot.
And then you pick something stupid. You're like, who poses like this? Because I can't think of anything else.
You look like when we took pictures as like 5-year-old dancers, like you just put like a pop of a toe. You're like, this works for now.
Yeah.
It's mortifying. Okay, so this actually leads into my next question that I ask pretty much everyone. You look, I'm like, I can tell if you're nervous or trying to woo me or both. When you flutter your eyes like that. My next question that I ask pretty much all of our guests is, do you have advice for dancers who have that hurdle that sometimes get stuck? Because we've had guests on here that are like, and then I almost quit dancing. And it sounds like luckily you had a background in dancing a little bit. So, and you have a personality too that's like, oh, well, this didn't work. Well, fuck this class. I'll go to a different class. But do you have advice for other people who are just starting to dance or hitting like a specific hurdle in their dance journey?
Just ignore everybody except the instructor. Just focus on the instructor. Anybody else, it doesn't matter they're professional or they're beginner. Just do not, look at them. If you are so nervous or you're just new to dance, you just focus on yourself. That's going to help your man-siding and body to get the muscle memory to continue doing this. Because if you keep looking at other people, because there's going to be somebody dance much better than you.
Yeah,
always guaranteed everybody else in the class.
So if you keep looking, I need to copy, I need to see, why my bodies are moving like hers, right? Everybody's different. You know your body 100 times better than anybody else. You know how to teach her or, how to move. Just focus on yourself, just listen to yourself, what you really want to do or what do you really want to learn, right? If this thinking is strong enough, I think you can keep going. Unless you're not enjoying it. You find something else to do. But if you really like it, right? Just ignore anything else. Just ignore the environment for now until you feel really comfortable, right? Right. Like me, like I said, when I first take class, I look so stupid. I almost gave up. But right now, when I look back, I feel so thankful for myself. I kept going for 1 year. Now I'm so confident in her class. So just keep doing it. Just tell yourself you can do this. You can do this.
Yeah. Do you feel like it took you time to develop that skill of just focusing on yourself and the teacher?
I think I'm pretty good at that.
Like in general?
Yeah, in general. Yeah, it's because before I have the tendency to care, what other people are doing. But, sometimes that bothers me. The most recent example is I took a workshop for a Bollywood dance You know that girl, huh?
Yeah.
She used to teach there. And I went there. Everybody else are Indians. I'm the only, not Indian. So Bollywood is kind of natural to them, right? So I at first I feel a little bit awkward
because she described doing it in the garage at like 7.
Yeah.
That's the most recent experience because she did a professional recording. She want to give the videotape to everybody, right? So she did the groups, sections. Because when I started learning the dance, I feel so comfortable because I didn't pay any attention to anybody else. I just focused on her. I just learned the moves, right? If the video is not coming back yet, but I can tell I dance much better in the practicing, videos. But when she set up groups, I started looking at somebody else. That's where I messed up. I forgot all the moves. I just standing there. I was like, what's the next move? Because they distract me. So I still, I know that's a very, extreme example because you are in the environment that you are the only one who doesn't know this kind of dance, right? It's kind of extreme environment. But everybody has, the tendency to look at somebody else. But you have to keep focusing on yourself.
That happens to me because even if you're looking kind of like in your peripherals to see if you're on time for some reason, instead of just listening, you also, have a little bit of spatial awareness. Sometimes that second of, okay, I see them. Oh, am I a little bit of a behind? You're like 3 counts later and like whatever you were doing is already messed up.
Yeah.
It's like, to use a biblical example, there's like the whole, like the guy getting out of the boat to follow the disciple getting out of the boat to follow Jesus into the water. He's like walking on water and then like notices the wind and the storm and starts sinking. I feel like watching other people in a dance class is the same thing where you're like, I'm doing fine, but then you hear the storm and you start sinking.
I feel like what happens to me too, and this even happens to me as a teacher sometimes, where if I start looking at someone else or focusing on someone else, it also suddenly I'm out of my body and in my head. And I think that's what fucks me up too.
Like the wrong part of your brain activates.
Yeah, because I feel like dance is a break from all of this shit happening in my brain. So when I look at someone else, it's suddenly like clicks me back into place with my brain. And so then my body gets like everything just kind of like hardwired. Like it just like completely.
Like my golf instructor told me, he said, Rainy, let your body do the work.
Yes.
Your body is much, smarter than your brain. Do not let your stupid brain control your body. When you're thinking too much, you mess up. Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
Yeah. Because I feel like this is why a lot of times with beginners, I'm like, it's okay. Part of the training is teaching your brain to take a break because she doesn't need to be there. It just gets in the way, exactly like your golf instructor said, which is also another skill set. But I think that that's something that really starts to apply to real life too, because it helps you realize ways that you can kind of quiet the voice a little bit. Haven't perfected that. But do you have, so my next question actually is, do you feel like you've developed skills from dancing and being a dancer that have crossed over pretty nicely into your quote unquote regular life or your, as a human?
I think so. It's persistent, just to concentrate. Just, I don't know, because the dance is, like I said, it's my happy source, right? This is the only thing, when I'm in it, I do not think anything else. I start to take that tendency out of dancing too. When I do something else, right, I still trying to, because my brain is kind of weird, I'm a multitasker, I can do multiple things at the same time, so which make me more stressful, because there's always a space in my brain thinking about some stressful things. So right now I'm trying to tell myself or tell my brain, take a break. Just focus like we're talking right now, right? Just talk. Just do not think anything else. Just do not think when you walk out this, where you're going to go, what are you going to do, who you're going to call, right? Just take everything else. Just live there. So that's the thing I'm trying to, take out of dance after the dance class. Just to keep that momentum going. Mm-hmm. Just to keep myself happy.
Yeah. I think that dance forces me at least to be present And I think that is something that definitely when I leave, I'm like, because every time I leave a dance class, I'm like, how do I continue this feeling that I have right now?
Sometimes you feel empty, right?
Yes.
Sometimes.
And because I have a high afterwards, but if I miss a couple of days, which I haven't been able to dance in like a few weeks and I feel like I'm dying. And sometimes I'm like, how did I not dance for like several months sometimes?
And last week I just took a dance class that I was terrible in and I walked out being like, I missed it. I was like the worst one in the class. It was very challenging choreography for me. And I will probably go back tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I don't think I have any other questions for you. Do you, Rachel Lamb?
No, that was amazing.
You're wonderful. And thank you so much for being on the show with us. You have such a unique background. And I don't even know how else to say that. I feel like I'm just going to say that in many different words, but I think you have such a unique background that I think will speak to some people in specific ways though. And so I just really appreciate you being here, being open, being honest, and sharing everything with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad you understand my English.
Yeah. I always understand your English. It's like not an issue for me, but
this is kind of joke, because sometimes when you see some people, especially at a stop sign or traffic light, they ask for something. I said, no English.
I know you would, Rainy. You would.
Again, part of the personality feels correct. Okay, we love you so much. We're going to give you the outro music. And then...
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll see y'all next time.